My name is Ikra Mariam Ahmed and I am 23 years old. Right now I am working in an American firm as a customer success coordinator.
Okay.
Well, I am quite familiar with the moment because it took a boost, I guess, 3 years back, and everyone was talking about it. So I got to know about that then, and it's a really powerful moment, what I believe. And that's the time when I got to know about it, and I know how it works and how people from everywhere are just coming up and telling about their experiences and how they got harassed at some point of their lives. And this moment gave courage to a lot of victims that never spoke about it before, and gave them a chance and a courage to just speak up like everyone else is.
Okay.
Yes, it does. It definitely does, because before that, like during my childhood or in my teens, I have never heard anyone speak about it or even talk about it. It was considered a shameful thing if you're harassed, and especially as a girl, if you're harassed and if you talk about it, that's definitely a bad thing and you shouldn't be talking about it and you should stay quiet. But when this movement came up, it shows people that it's not their fault and it's okay to speak up and it's okay to call out the person that did bad to them. So it definitely gave awareness to a lot of people, a lot of parents as well, to educate their children regarding sexual harassment and stuff, which they were not doing that previously. If I talk about Pakistan, so I don't see much improvement or change regarding this. But yes, it definitely gave some awareness, and it just gave a platform, a voice to the victims. But it not really changed anything much. Like people, like the victims have the courage now to speak up about it and just talk about it, but there is no action that is being taken here in Pakistan. Like if we say there are 100 cases, then 90% of them, or maybe 95% of them, they're not going to be taken any action against it, but 5% are. But yes, it did give a lot of awareness to people regarding this, and it also gave a sense of fear and accountability to people that if they did something wrong to someone, they're going to be held accountable for it, because if they speak up, people are going to be coming up to them and calling them out. So this is a fear that people have. So people just don't do that so fearlessly that they used to do in the past, but not much action has been taken against the problem makers or the predators. No, I still think that there is a slight amount of fear among them as well, because yes, obviously in our society and the influence that they have, they're not going to be punished or anything, but they know for a fact, because this is a social media age, that people are going to be behind them and they're going to call them out, and it will just deteriorate their character and their image. So they are fearful of their image being ruined, but not of the punishment. Yeah.
Okay.
I think victim blaming is a norm in our country, and whoever, especially if a girl is speaking up, that she is definitely gonna be victim blamed, that it's her fault that she faced that. But I still believe that even after all the victim blaming, there are, like, if out of 100, 60% of the people are victim blaming them, there are still 40% of the people that are with them and that understand, because there are a lot of people, boys, girls, men, women, who have been through this, who have been sexually harassed, who have been in situations like that where they felt powerless and they felt like they can't do anything, and they faced harassment or they faced abuse. But when they listen to it, so they connect and they understand their situation because they have been through that. So there are, even if almost like 50% of the people are victim blaming them and telling them that they're wrong and it's their fault, there are still 50% who believes them. And I guess for a victim, for a person who have been through, if there is even two people who can understand their situation, that is such a relief for a person like that. Yes, I have experienced sexual harassment as a child, and I know people around me, boys and girls, who have been subjected to sexual harassment and they went through that trauma. And it does affect me till now, like even in a lot of situations, in a lot of ways, when if I would have not been put through that, I would have acted differently. So, and there is a constant fear in my heart, though I was very small back then, but now I am an adult, but still I have that fear, and I can't properly process, I guess, relationships, even with people that I trust and I know that they love me and they care for me and their intentions are not wrong. I still get a bit scared a bit whenever I am interacting with them, because this is I guess some after effects of what I've been through. Well, I guess that media did a very nice job while covering all of this movement and just propagating it and encouraging people to speak up. And so they did a very good job. But yes, I do believe that a lot of media companies also focused on the negative, more negative impacts of this whole movement. That yes, everything has good and bad impacts, and Me Too movement have been used in negative ways by people whose intentions was not good and who used it for their benefits. Yes, it happened, but some media companies just propagated this narrative to an extent that the benefits of Me Too movement were suppressed entirely. So, but I will say that in most cases they have done a pretty good job. I guess it just opened up a conversation that was not there before, that boys get harassed and assaulted too, when previously it was a concept that girls are the only gender who's been subjected to harassment or sexual assault. And it just opened up an entirely different perspective and an entirely different conversation when boys and men started to came up with their stories, that what happened with them and how they got sexually harassed by a woman or a man. So that was an entirely different perspective that nobody have thought before, because previously the powerful gender has always been thought to be males and a man. But when we heard stories about boys and men getting harassed and sexually abused by a woman. So it changed the power narrative as well, that it's not about the gender, that if you're a guy or if you're a girl. If you're a guy, then you're strong, and if you're a girl, then you're a weak. It's just about, it's all about the power, that if you have strong influence and if you are in a powerful position, then it doesn't matter what gender you have. You can just oppress anyone, any gender.
Do you have any example for this?
Any example for this? You might have heard of this story, this news that happened some time ago. A director, he's a very, very famous Pakistani director, and he came up with his story that he got sexually harassed by a director when he started off his career. And so that was a very different perspective, especially for Pakistani society, that like guys get harassed too, or guys have these issues too. So that was like the first time that story came off was a very different thing for me as well. And also one of my friends also told me that how he got sexually abused when he was a child. So yeah.
Okay. And what about like a woman harassing a man? Do you have an example for that?
I have read articles about it, but I don't have a real life example for that. But yes, I have read an article about it when a boy was getting harassed by his aunt, and he was being abused by her for such a long time. So that was also a very, very different narrative for me, that okay, women are doing that too.
I believe on this specific issue, there was a film too, The Pursuit of Being a Wallflower, if you have watched that.
Yeah, that film as well. It was entirely on this concept how women are also predating children and boys for their own pleasure and for their own bad intentions. I guess I don't have anything to criticize about this movement, but yes, to the people who are using it for their intention, for their bad intentions, and are using it for their benefit, they are just ruining this movement for everyone, for the people who are actually the victims and who faced all of that. They are just making all of this movement is a joke for everyone. So this is a big concern for the people who are actually been through this, because when this movement started out, it was a very pure movement, but with the passage of time, when people with their benefits came into it and started using it for their propagandas and their things, so what happened is that this movement became less powerful or less valuable, because whoever next is gonna come and tell their story, everybody is gonna question that if they're right or if they're just making it up. So this is a big concern, that I don't think that there's any solution to it, because how can you even identify if someone is lying or not? So, but I guess this is for the people who are misusing it to consider that this is bigger than their motive and their benefits, this movement, and they shouldn't be ruining it for their own good. Yes. Well, when this Me Too movement came, our company started this whole campaign of harassment awareness, and how people who are going to be involved in such acts are going to be kicked out from the company, and they have literally made like set up meetings, proper meetings with people, with all of us, with our company, with boys, with girls, and everyone, to let the people know that these are the limitations, these are the things that they shouldn't be allowed to be doing, and these are the things that are considered to be disrespectful or that will cause harm to their colleagues. So if they do any of this, they're going to be kicked out. And also they have set up proper trainings for us, that how we can report it and what are the right authorities, and they are not under any influence. Like they have just made a proper committee that is not under anyone's influence, not even our, like nobody can influence those people to like not made the right decision. So if you have faced anything like that, you go up there and you tell them, they're gonna take an action. So this is one of the positive changes that I felt. I guess individually you have to respect people's boundaries, because everyone has different boundaries. If your boundary is that you are okay with giving hugs, maybe the other person in front of you, that is not their boundary. So you should always ask before initiating physical contact with the other person, that if they are comfortable with it or not. That will really help you identify and you not doing anything unintentionally to make the other person uncomfortable or feeling threatened by your presence. And on the organizational level, I guess what my company did was a very good thing, that they have made a committee, they have set up some meetings, and just let everybody know that this is something that they won't be bearing, and if anything like this happened, you're out. And what else you asked about as a community?
Yes.
As a community. Okay, as a community, I believe that we should definitely make this whole security of every place, like whenever you are out, and so you should be looking out for other people, that they're not in danger, or if you feel that there is some kind of activity or some kind of people that are not behaving properly, you should always look out for others and be proactive enough to call the police or call the relevant departments. I know this is very much not assured that the police will reach at times, but that is another discussion. It affected it positively and negatively. Yes, it did. Like the positive impact is like when a story came up without any research or without any background story, they start posting in its favor, and they start this movement of we have to get justice for this and we have to get justice for that, and yes, there's a lot of hype and everybody's very passionate about it, but after some time, when even a negative news about that comes up, again, without any research or without any confirmation, they start working on that. So it just leaves the people who are first supporting that confused, that okay, this was the media group that I was following and this was supporting this scenario, and now this news came and now they are not supporting it. So they just leave them hanging in between, that what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is not. So this has affected a lot of victims in a bad way as well, because if they just start conversations without confirming that if what they're listening or what they're thinking is true or not, even if with this Noor Muqaddam case, if you've heard about it, like when it started out, everybody was like, that is wrong and it shouldn't have happened. But but after some time, there were like there were media groups coming out saying, why would she go there? Why would she does that? So people who were supporting that, they got confused that what's happening. So I think they should first investigate that what they're supporting, if it's right or not just go after PRs and what make their media group more famous. First, what they can do is they can start calling out their friends who are harassers or who are doing bad stuff to other women, instead of protecting them and being a shield around them just for the sake of that this is bro code. They should call out and they should just let them know and let people know that they are not safe. And also what else they can do is whenever any of the women from their family or in their friend circle, if they came up to them and tell them any story that this is what happened with her, instead of telling her that why would she do that and why would she, that would be really helpful if they believe them and if they support them, because that's all what victims need. I guess that's pretty much it that they can do. These are really small changes, but that will go a long way. Just be a safe space for the women around them.
Okay.
I guess in our society it's going in a very negative way, because it just lost its credibility, I guess, because of the fake victims that have came up and destroyed this whole movement. Like, people who were supporting that in the start, they are very skeptical about it now. Whenever someone comes up, they're very skeptical about it. But I do hope and I do pray that this movement start evolving in a positive direction, and it will help more victims and more people to speak up their truth, and just be a better community for everyone who have been through this, and just be a better space for them to share their trauma so they can heal from it.
Okay. Did you came up with your story on the Me Too movement hashtag and stuff? And if you didn't, then what was the reason?
No, I didn't. I guess I still need some time. I don't have any answer about this, that why I didn't yet. But I guess everybody has their own timeline to process what they have been went through, and there is a time when they decide to just let that out. And I guess my time has not yet came, but it will for sure.
Okay, Ikra, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.